Hello, NWI. Welcome to this special episode of Bluer by the Lake, where I try really hard to control my temper because, whoa, Nelly, I'm hot. I am really, really pissed tonight. I live in Munster. I have a kid in the middle school. I have one in the high school. And what happened today was an absolute shit show. And the school town of Munster administration needs to be held accountable because it was 1000% their own making. Alrighty, so I'm going to give everybody who might not know what the hell I'm talking about an update in a second, but a few things to know. Normally, I like to get quotes, firsthand accounts. I don't typically report on things that I haven't independently verified, but when you're dealing with a district as secretive as Munster, that's difficult. So here is what I've been able to piece together as best I can. So I'm sure some of you may know this already, but for the last few days, like many of the high schools in the region, Munster high school students have been planning a walkout in protest of ICE. Yesterday, that's Wednesday the 11th, if you're listening to this a few days from now, the high school students planning the walk received a threat, ostensibly by a Republican student, threatening to shoot any students leaving the building in protest against ICE. Okay, so the school fairly issued a flurry of warnings, and the cavalcade of alerts start hitting parents. The school also decides to tell the students that they can only protest inside the school, both at the middle and the high school, because both schools had students that wanted to do a walkout in protest of ICE. Now, unsurprisingly, since protests typically happen outside where people can see them, and it's not a protest if no one can see it, the kids decide they want to go outside anyway, as, again, students at high schools all across the region have been doing over the past week or so. So, fast forward to today. It's Thursday, February 12th. A series of threats against students at both buildings start flying all over the place. I can't tell you who said they do what to who because, of course, the school won't tell us when they send you these alerts. They're so vague, it's ridiculous. It says, something happened. We're on this alert status. We'll tell you more later. And then, of course, they never tell you shit. But between both buildings, because, again, I have kids in both, I received a total of 5 emails about the threats alone. But this one's important, folks. The middle school is saying one of these threats was a rumor. I have personally communicated with a parent who says their middle school student, her Latino daughter, was directly threatened to be shot by a student at the school. I've confirmed this one, and I'm hopefully going to be talking to that parent on another day. They want things to calm down, and I don't blame them. All right, so let's put a pin in that one. 9:55 today. This morning, upwards of 300 students attempted to leave Munster High School. They were physically prevented from doing this, purportedly for their safety. Doors were locked. Students were restrained. I have reports of this one, physically restrained by police officers from leaving the building. Now, of course, all hell's breaking loose in the high school. There are MAGA students in violent confrontations with protesters, while all these students are trapped in the building for their safety behind locked doors. I want to give you an image of what was going on inside the school. From what I can tell, it looks like almost the entire student body is wanting to participate in this walkout. So here, check this out. That's our kids. Look at that. Look how many kids are in that school wanting to demonstrate solidarity with immigrants that are being targeted by ICE in their community and locked in the school and prevented from doing it. Now here are the kids that managed to get out. And let me show you where they ended up.
People be honking. All right. shot, okay? These are the future.
Now, to say I'm proud of those kids for standing in the cold for 6+ hours is an understatement in the extreme. Let's stop and think about what just happened here in Munster for a second. Here they are on the corner of Ridge and Calumet, where there are some heroic parents like Ginny Dickman Lopez. Shout out, girl. The Munster Dem chair stayed with them the entire time and made sure they were safe. Taught them fundamentals like not engaging with the drunk masked MAGA jackasses on the corner. Let me show what they look like too. They were a treat. Yeah, that's them. That's who stood across from our kids and heckled them. So let's stop and process this shit for a minute, okay? Let's take a minute and compare how Munster's protest compared to how Hammond High handled their protest. At Hammond, the kids were gathered in front of the school. Teachers and a small contingent of police are in there to keep the kids safe, keep things under control. The kids protest. They march. Everyone is safe. Everyone is supported. Everyone feels their rights are respected. No one is terrified they'll be expelled. No one is terrified they'll be shot. And then Munster, what's supposed to be one of the premier school districts in Indiana. Kids are told to protest behind closed doors where no one can see them. Parents are bewildered by an avalanche of vague and terrifying threats that the school won't explain. Everyone in town is hearing these alerts going off in the PAs that are outside of both schools. Kids are locked behind doors and restrained by police officers to prevent them from leaving. Parents are told they can't bring their kids out of these schools where the kids are all over the hall. Fights are breaking out. It's chaos because it's too dangerous for them to go outside. And our children, instead of being allowed to learn how to practice their First Amendment rights in a safe space with protection and guidance of our teachers who are supposed to be so top-notch, instead our kids are driven to the most dangerous corner in Munster, protected by a handful of parents who happen to luckily be available and heckled by grown, drunk-ass adults. They were even, and I also have corroboration for this one, folks, because, I'm pissed about this, flipped off by someone who works for the town of Munster. Munster decals all over the truck. You can call the town hall about that one, folks. Again, to say I'm proud of our kids is a huge understatement. There is no way to also downplay the level of my rage at our administration for this fiasco. This did not need to happen. They could have allowed our children to do what students in districts across Northwest Indiana have done: protest publicly in front of their school in a safe, controlled environment. We didn't have a tragedy because our kids were taught well by parents on hand. Munster is supposed to be better than this, and the school town of Munster abandoned their responsibility. So, to anyone on the school board hearing this, understand that the parents of Munster expect a thorough explanation of how this shit show went down and how you are going to ensure our children get to exercise their free speech rights in the safe space we pay you to provide for them. The school town of Munster failed its most basic goal today: to teach our children how to be Americans. I'm ashamed and embarrassed. And if you share my feelings that the school town of Munster needs to do better at protecting our kids' civil rights, I want you to call the school board, call the school town of Munster at 219-836-9111. I'll also be posting emails for all school board members and the school town of Munster administration in the show notes. And if anyone at the school town of Munster would like to appear on the show, or if any students would like to share their story, my mic is yours. Drop a comment or email me at blueorbythelake@gmail.com. Now, folks, since the administration tried to prevent you from seeing our kids in the school, I want to be sure you know how amazing they are. So I'm going to share one last video.
mientras uno está vivo, uno debe amar lo más que pueda.
Folks, this was wrong. To all the kids at Munster High School, thank you for standing in solidarity with the immigrant community. Thank you for showing your parents that you have values and you intend to display them. The world needs you. We need you, and we're proud of you. And as for the school town of Munster, you've got some explaining to do. Folks, let's hold their feet to the fire. Call, email. Let them know that we expect the town of Munster to support our children in their efforts to exercise their rights to dissent and free speech, and to teach them how to do it in a safe space. All right, folks, I'm going to go and try to calm down because, again, I'm really hot. And then I'm going to go hug on my kid because I'm proud of them. Please show these kids some love. And kids, if you want to do more to help, join the brand new Lake County, Indiana Young Democrats group. It's a space for you, the next generation, to decide what you want the future to be. So check them out, and I'll see you at the lake.